Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 5. I had to count out for a second. I said 3 plus 1. That's 4 plus another 1. That's 5. Welcome to game number 5 in this series between PuppyPaw and LucifroN. Spawning in over on the left side of the map, playing as the Mongols in the color blue, we have got PuppyPaw.
And on the right side, it is going to be LucifroN commanding the English over here in red, opening with a mill super early. So as you pointed out, English here not necessarily going for a ton of aggression themselves either, and it's going to be an eco-focused approach. In fact, we already have a wheelbarrow coming in here for LucifroN, so very eco-focused approach. On the other side, PuppyPaw's base, let's talk a little bit about that, because that is a quite unlucky spawn for a Mongol player out there. He is only next to a forest, but the gold mine is on the front. The second gold mine is all the way at the back, right next to the Ovu, which could help a tiny bit, but very far away from the town center overall.
Villagers moving out now as well. There's 2 of them heading down, which makes me think it's probably going to be a Gur that gets thrown down. No early aggression at this stage, and indeed it is a Gur. But let's talk a little bit about this base layout, because this is something that if you scout out as the English, you might change your tune. You might have thought that, hey, I was going to go for an Abbey of Kings and a Castle Age play, but look at that Uvu, look at that gold mine. If there's anything that's ever asked to be tower pushed or tower rushed, if there's anything that's ever wanted longbows attacking it, it is that right there. Look at the gap between those 2 things. It is huge.
Indeed, there is a huge gap over here in between the players, and it's like big emptiness out there for PuppyPaw. So his gold miners are essentially stranded out there. And this is something that, indeed, if LucifroN scouts, he can really punish that. Potentially even with horsemen. That could be a possibility for him as well, especially if he was thinking about the Abbey initially anyways.
It's kind of wild that any other civilization would have loved this spawn. You've got berries and gold at the back, and you've got double forest at the front. So it's very easy to wall off. But the Mongols, this is a terrible spawn for them because they don't have gold, they don't have stone, and in fact, they don't have walls, so they can't even wall themselves off. It's just a really bad spot for PuppyPaw. Obviously, he's 3-1 up in this series. So if there's anything to get LucifroN back into this game right now, it is this matchup, it is this map, because we talked about it before this game started. English have a very decent win rate against the Mongols. In fact, at the platinum level and above, if it's anything to go by on the current patch, 56% win rate for the English in this matchup. So a pretty damn high win rate there. So that should give an indication that maybe it's a little bit more English favored. We'll have to see exactly how LucifroN plays it and whether he goes for aggression in that second age.
Indeed, it's going to be an interesting one to take a look at. We don't have a second scout, by the way, for PuppyPaw. He's only playing with that one Khan that he started with. And it looks like we are going to have the good old-fashioned Vortex layout for those farms for LucifroN, getting a slight extra amount of food here. We talked about this a lot. It's really just a very, very small thing, but it's a small thing that you can do to make your life a little easier. And it looks like we're just gonna have the good old-fashioned Council Hall come in as the Feudal Age landmark for LucifroN.
All right, well, looks like the Khan going to be falling back towards the center of the map. Going to be falling back, and we do not see any potential trade coming out today. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have seen it. I really would have, but unfortunately, it is just going to be the deer stones. So I guess the question comes out for PuppyPaw is, you know, what angle does he go for? We've obviously seen the stable come out. We see the horsemen come out, and it's going to be double training horsemen. Which is going to sort of imply that, hey, you know, don't dare think about even attacking me. That's the kind of mindset I'm feeling with this. And to be honest, I feel like this makes a lot of sense. You can't really go barracks because what's the barracks going to do? Let's be honest, nothing. But the horsemen, it stops the scouts and it says you can't attack this position. Don't send a villager. Don't send longbows. Stay in your base.
Yeah, preemptive horseman makes a ton of sense against the English overall. You can try to chase down those scouts. You see LucifroN is going to split up because he knows that eventually both of those scouts will be chased down. So he's just going to slowly sacrifice one of those. The second one could potentially make it out alive. He's trying to gather some extra information here, I feel, because he's going back towards the base of PuppyPaw for a brief moment. But as you pointed out, the other thing that you accomplish with those horsemen is that you want to make sure that there is no forward villager, there is no forward longbows moving out towards your base. It's a preemptive response to the very likely possibility of the English player going for that Council Hall.
Yeah, so Council Hall always going to be a possibility here, and always going to be a relevant consideration. But we do see the barracks, and I think that's the differentiator here. The barracks coming up means that it's highly likely to be a feudal age play, and we already do see some longbows coming out. So aggression going to be coming towards this sort of position that's a little bit out extended. Obviously, PuppyPaw is focusing on collecting the gold. We can see he's got 230 gold in the bank at the moment. Also got a fair bit of wood stacked up as well, but I'm curious to see where he goes from here, because the new age has begun. Both players now reaching that second age. But I guess the question is, from here, what type of military do we see from these players?
He's dropping an archer range over here, sending some more villagers out to gold. I can see him trying to play like a semi-fast castle defensive approach here. But given the fact that he sees the longbows approaching, I'm fairly certain that he has spotted the barracks as well. He should know that there is going to be feudal age aggression coming in. So he needs a defensive tower. He needs potentially a couple of archers. But as he said, he's still gathering gold. So this could be a way for him to go into Castle Age. And that could work really well. Because if LucifroN can't get any damage done with his longbows in time, then the Castle Age comes in and you're going to see Lancers and Man-at-Arms hit the field. Question is, how heavy PuppyPaw is going to go on the Feudal Age army. He's just now adding the first 2 archers with the double training.
I think this is such a smart move from LucifroN to push down on this position that PuppyPaw's got, because we can see how susceptible it is to that sort of early aggression. The outpost now going to be coming up for PuppyPaw. It makes a lot of sense. He's got to make sure that he gets arrow slits through as quickly as possible. We don't see it in queue for him at the moment, but this villager coming down has the potential to deny away that gold from him. And when it comes to secondary gold, take a look where the gold is. It is very far away from his base. It's up on the other side of the ridgeline, or ridgeline mountain range. I guess that's the other way to call it. But yeah, what a difficult position for him.
Yeah, it's a very difficult position for him to be in. Looks like the archers are now popping out, though. This is the new Yam network, but the villager could get sniped down to 2 HP, gets killed.
Wow, that's very big, and that's going to stall him out. Now he's going to have to send out another villager, and you know what? He'll probably send 2. So that's going to be a distinct loss of economy. 2 villager reduction now, obviously, in addition to that 3rd villager, which was killed. But great little... That's a great play there from PuppyPaw. That's going to buy him time, because it's only a matter of time until this English push really comes to shove. One of the things to note, take a look at that. I don't see him producing any more units. LucifroN going for a little bit of a fake out, collecting gold as well behind this, so it could have a bit of a fast castle behind this.
Yeah, this is the difficult thing for PuppyPaw to evaluate, because LucifroN could tap out of this aggression any moment. He could say, okay, I'm done. Oh, the Khan actually got picked off over there. What exactly happened? Oh, he ran into the longbows. That's gonna hurt.
The giveaway is the gold. I'm not sure if you saw that, but the scout spotted out all of the villagers on the gold, and that's going to tell him exactly what he needs to know. He doesn't need to know if there's more units coming, because he sees 6 villagers on gold, and he says, okay, he's going castle. I know how many units I need to make. And you can see just enough units have been made now for PuppyPaw. He's got 10 archers, 7 horsemen, and that's it. That's all he needs to repel this. Because now that horseman going to come back in towards this gold line. It's going to spot out these villagers, and it's really going to cement what the intention here is for LucifroN.
Yeah, that's exactly it. This horseman is life-saving because you lost the Khan, you don't have a second scout. So if it wasn't for this horseman, PuppyPaw wouldn't know that LucifroN has so many villagers on gold. And as you pointed out, heavy commitment with the English here in this scenario to gold is a sign that he's going towards Castle Age. PuppyPaw, not that much behind though in Castle Age timing though. If you look at those resources, PuppyPaw has said, okay, I wanted to go fast castle anyways. Might as well just do that now. Stop making army over here. Concerning for him is the fact that he's got limited vision all across the map, because obviously he doesn't have a lot of towers right now, and he lost his Khan, no second scout, so he's playing a little blind over here.
So where do they go from here? Where do the players go? Because obviously LucifroN's aging up. It's the King's Palace that's coming down. No surprises from this. But obviously his economy is going to be in a great stage. I suspect as soon as he gets up, he's going to be looking at getting a monastery down, trying to claim those relics and look to get those 3 contested relics in the center of the map. It's going to be very key for him. But the big question for me is, how does PuppyPaw react to that? Because we see more and more units on this backside coming through for raids, but I feel like that's not going to be enough to match the economy that what LucifroN is throwing down. So obviously we're going to see a step out come down from him. We're probably going to see a market drop down, a monastery for him as well, or rather a prayer tent. But do you think we'll see a second town center coming out for our Mongol player?
It's a possibility, and that should be the case. Like, you know that your opponent is going to play with the King's Palace. It's 99% sure. So you know that you will be behind in terms of town centers, and you probably want to get that second town center up for yourself, while also maintaining these raids. Couple of spearmen out there for LucifroN to repel that aggression, and it looks like we're going to have a switch into knights here from LucifroN, or they set up with a decent farming eco out there. I'm fairly certain that PuppyPaw is expecting that switch into knights, because if you take a look at that gold mine, LucifroN still has quite a lot of villagers on gold, so that means that he's going for a very gold-heavy unit composition over here. Response could be crossbows here from PuppyPaw. We're gonna have to see what exactly he decides on.
Yeah, I'm curious the composition overall from this, because typically as PuppyPaw you would expect it's going to be lancers together with crossbows. Obviously men-at-arms are a viable option for people as well. But we've seen sort of this switch into a bit of a crossbow lancer composition. But now LucifroN going to be looking to add in knights of his own. We see improved siege engineering coming through for PuppyPaw, so potentially thinking about heading into mangonels.
Indeed, horsemen still being annoying, and indeed improved siege engineering is going to be on the menu. I mean, mangonels, sure thing, it's a nice addition, but it's not going to do much against all those knights out there. You see Monastery also being dropped to pick up the relics. Not exactly sure what PuppyPaw has on his mind over here, but it's a possibility that he isn't aware of the fact that knights are coming. Now starting to mix in the crossbows though, so he is going to have something to fight off those knights with.
I really like, one of the things I've been doing a lot with China is knights or lancers together with nested bees. And I think that's something that could really be effective quite effective here rather. It would be mangonels together with knights. Obviously, mangonels with the recent buff, they're very effective against ranged units like the crossbow, but they're still quite effective in mass against spearmen if you can get off those shots, and that's what it's all about. But we'll have to see exactly how he plays it, because a bit of an archer attack coming through for PuppyPaw, and I do like this play. It makes sense to send these archers in, because typically these aren't going to be forming a big part of your army. If your enemy's got 15, 20 lancers, then you're going to be barely scratching them with your archers. At least try and make a bit of magic happen over on that other side of the map. And now you can see that Khan going to be trying to draw out a little bit of attention on these knights to get that attack arrow blaring. And now he hits the gold mine at the same time. Multiple angles coming in. The horseman also. And now the villager's going to get focused down. He's doing a great job. The first one goes down. And it looks like a repel going to come in. LucifroN not skipping a beat at all.
Beautiful idea here by PuppyPaw, as you pointed out. You just distract the opponent and then come in from the other side with the knights. Great idea over there with units that he didn't really need anymore. The problem is that simultaneously he's also getting pushed by knights, and unlike the archers and the horsemen that can't really stay under those towers on the town centers, these knights, they can stay, and they are here to stay, forcing so much idle time from PuppyPaw.
And the big thing is that you've got knights on one side versus the horsemen on the other side. Horsemen, you kind of laugh at them. You're playing as the English, you've got your Gatling guns, boom, boom, boom. The Venga boys come out. Looks like a monastery is not going to be picking up that relic today, or at least if it does, it's going to take some time. But now the knights coming in looking to punish down these villagers. The town center has gone down, but it's only about 30% of the way through. Villagers fall back towards the pavilion, jumping inside that town center. More villagers now on the wood line. Going to be intercepted here as well. Crossbows out, looking to try and support this position, but the archers are back in on the gold mine. We see a third town center coming out for LucifroN right now. Things are heating up in this game.
Things are heating up for sure indeed. Villagers being lost on both sides over here, and that third town center was an immediate reaction to the second town center being added by PuppyPaw. LucifroN said, I want to build up an even bigger villager lead than what I have right now. I'm working towards that third town center. Archers are now getting cleaned up though. PuppyPaw down by 10 villagers over here. He's also going to be down by a town center. And the question becomes whether he's going to stay on 2 town centers, or maybe if he's going to try to work himself towards 3 as well, because he is going to be behind in villager count no matter what it seems.
Yeah, this is a really smart move from LucifroN. Adding in this third town center, it's so difficult to punish these extra town centers that come out from the English, just because their town centers are incredibly effective at defending. There's so many different aspects that allow the English to defend their town centers. First and foremost, they get double the arrows. Second of all, they have network of castles that they propagate from, like Wi-Fi, which is obviously what PuppyPaw is playing on at the moment, the Wi-Fi. But in addition to that, they've also just got really effective ranged units like the longbow or the villager that are able to help defend in the event that there's a big raid that comes down.
Indeed, and obviously having those villagers carry some bows helps you when you have a couple of light units inside your eco, like 1 or 2 horsemen against 20 villagers. It's gonna be an easy cleanup for your villagers, and it helps keep those villagers alive, and more importantly, as I said, network of castles, the network of citadels in the future. That's probably the bigger part of the equation. For now, looks like things are slowing down a tiny bit. We have 2 relics for LucifroN. It's going to be 3 for PuppyPaw unless he loses the one that he's still carrying. 1 knight got picked off over here by the towers of PuppyPaw, but I see some dead bodies over there, so this knight may have been doing some work before that.
So the question is, how does PuppyPaw win this game? Because everything at this point in time indicates he's on a timer. As you mentioned, sure, there's 2 relics for LucifroN, 3 for PuppyPaw, but that's not big enough. That's not as enough of a difference to make up between these 2 that we've got right now. We've got 14 villagers, obviously the 3 town centers out for LucifroN versus the 2 of PuppyPaw. We do see that a mangonel is going down, so this could be a potential window back into this game, and this is part of the reason why, as the English, I love just full knights here. It makes a lot of sense just to go heavy on the knights, and that's exactly what he's doing. Very heavy on the knights, 3 in queue at the moment as well. Great little cleanup up towards the north. Obviously, a fair few villagers did go down, but he manages to get. He manages to buy himself time here by taking out these lances of your opponent. You're reducing the amount of effective army that they've got, and it means that you're able to survive for longer against or with the units that you've got.
Yeah, the mangonel is yet to be added to this army over here. You can see it at the bottom of the screen slowly crawling up. You need that mangonel against the longbows. And let's not forget, mangonels have been buffed, so you get 1 or 2 good hits on that group of longbows, it evaporates. And this is where things are getting a little dicey for LucifroN, because you see that those towers are being crept up with by PuppyPaw. He's going to have some traction trebuchets out there to take down the defensive towers of LucifroN. And more importantly, how are you going to deal with those mangonels right now? You can't just dive in with all your knights because they will be massacred by the crossbowmen, and this is gonna be a difficult fight for LucifroN to fight if he doesn't have any springles to defend with.
Knights coming in from over on the west side, looking to come down towards that shaman. Indeed, they managed to force him up the sacred site. Mangonel going to be able to fire down upon that outpost before it gets the springwood emplacement. No, sorry, Bob. But it looks like the trebuchet going to be able to sling its boulders and take it out finally. We'll take a look at the base of LucifroN. I want to see if there's a siege workshop up for him. Ideally, in this position, if you can afford it, you might even want to throw down a second one, just because it's highly likely that you're going to be going up against a very heavy siege comp from here. I would expect that we're going to see more mangonels, but where is the siege workshop for LucifroN right now?
Nowhere.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, there is no siege workshop. And he doesn't have the stone for a castle. Remember, those stone miners got intercepted. So he doesn't have a defensive castle, he doesn't have a siege workshop, and it could be a little difficult to deal with all those mangonels. Springles being added. Oh, the mangonel gets caught off guard!
Not like this, Mangonel. You were our only hope. But the Mangonel, it manages to survive. You can see the longbows actually looking to fire it down. A bit of a split coming through. Now LucifroN looking like a gymnast, managing to split up all of the longbows like he would do Marines back when he used to play StarCraft. But still the numbers looking healthy for his opponent. Big damage coming off. A couple of horsemen as well as a men-at-arms going to be looking to try and hold this position. Knights coming out as well. We hear a wolf attacking some villages, and a raid behind the scenes going to be drawing his attention of PuppyPaw through. PuppyPaw trying to clinch this game. He's got the 3-1 advantage at this point in time, and the Mangonel's going to be looking to seal the deal as well as it continues forcing the issue. The trebuchet comes out, the Khan helping out. Look at the Khan on the trebuchet right now. He is excited. Look at that. Put him down. Get down from her.
Oh man, he's excited indeed. Oh, this is next level micro. Imagine if this counts towards APM. Of course it doesn't. Okay, he's done.
Okay, all right. He fixed it up. I was getting a little bit excited there. I'm glad that he fixed it up. Are we able to see, is there a siege workshop down yet for LucifroN? Is he just sticking with this whole Lancer shtick?
There seems to be no Sprangles in the making, so no siege workshop, and he just lost the monastery, which housed 2 relics. So 2 relics gone, finally a siege workshop being get it, better late than never. He's got a massive villager lead, but holding this is gonna be really difficult.
I love that he scouts out a Mangonel, he scouts out a trebuchet, and he's like, we'll deal with it later, don't worry about it. And now it's finally like, oh, I guess I'll make Springles. But never mind, as he looks to push up towards this position. And once again, the archer's going to be trying to take out the Mangonels, but there's 2 of them there. LucifroN being a little bit suicidal here. LucifroN, you're on match point, buddy. You should not be fighting against Mangonels with your longbows. Look, I'm from the Plastic League, but even I can tell you that ain't a good fight.
And the towers are getting destroyed left and right. This is a great and slow push by PuppyPaw. He's taking on the towers, pushing back that network of castles over for LucifroN. LucifroN still unable to drop a castle over here. He's only at 400 stone, so he can't drop a defensive keep to stop this one. He lost his relics. He's now adding Springle. Actually, he's adding trebuchets. Not adding Springles, adding trebuchets. But PuppyPaw already has a Springald out there to snap those with. And we have 4 Mangonels on the battlefield. LucifroN could lose that entire group of longbows in just a blink of an eye.
Oh, but now the Chads are coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, Armorclad is in the queue. He's also... Oh my lord! You're going to need more monks than that if you want to save these villagers. They better repent, and they better repent now because those Mangonels are getting into position. Holy dooly. Look at the damage coming out from that, Lidakor. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, like Mangonels are no joke anymore. And we've been joking about Mangonels for 2 months. They're out here for blood. They're out here for revenge. And LucifroN might soon see their wrath because that is 4 Mangonels setting up with no Springolds on the battlefield right now for LucifroN. The first Springold is yet to be finished by him.
I'm starting to get flashbacks from BC Cutie days here. This is a lot of Mangonels coming out right now for PuppyPaw. 4 Mangonels on the field. Still, we are yet to see a single Springold come out from LucifroN. He's got 1 in queue. The Trebuchet is going to be coming out as well, but you can't help but feel the Trebuchet may have been the wrong unit choice in this position. Villagers trying to repair it up, but obviously get focused down by the Mangonels. It's a sad sight to behold, isn't it?
And now the Springolds are moving up. 2 Springolds versus 1 over here. That Springold instantly gets picked off from LucifroN. We're back to the drawing board, and he's getting pushed back more and more. He's up by 20 villagers, but look at that, the relic being yoinked even by PuppyPaw. You get the feel that the confidence is just overwhelming from him.
Yeah, and keep in mind the big difference here was the 3 town centers against 2. PuppyPaw on 83 villagers, LucifroN on 100. A difference of 17 is not that significant, but Mangonel on the villagers! Villagers managing to repair or retreat just in time. But those Springolds continuing to move forward, snipe out a second Springold from LucifroN. PuppyPaw looking really good right now. This is match point, and this could be good game here because PuppyPaw is looking very strong. Springolds on the backside, Mangonels on the front. The Lancers continuing to push forward. All of the men-at-arms are coming out, but you can't help but feel it might have been the wrong decision. There's so many Lancers out here now turning their attention towards the Trebuchet, and now the damage looks to get put on. We've got crossbows on the backside. Mangonel's helping out as well. The town center does drop down. More Lancers trying their best to loop around the corner, but it's not looking good for LucifroN right now. Lidakor, he's in trouble.
He's in trouble. He just lost over the town center. He's got 1 Springold out there, though, firing upon those Mangonels. Knights are now swooping in to take down that Springold. Springold goes down as well.
Mangonels on the backside firing off. It looks like the men-at-armor brought out their torches together in tandem with the Knights. These guys run through absolutely everyone and try their best to turn their attention towards the back line, but they get completely shredded. And now the longbows move up. The longbows got to be careful. The Mangonels are looking towards the backside. Mangonels, don't do it! Don't do it, Mangonels! It's huge damage coming out, but the splits are coming through. He's trying to hold on. He's turning all of his attention towards that backside, but unfortunately he's struggling, and now the Mangonel, a huge shot comes through. It's not looking good for LucifroN. I think it might be game.
LucifroN is losing his entire army. He's down to 20 army versus 50. PuppyPaw is actually calling off his forces for a brief moment. If he presses on here, he can finish this game right here, right now. Because LucifroN is struggling. LucifroN is down to 105 gold in the bank. The council hall is being shelled. How is LucifroN going to hold this off?
The crossbows continuing to kite back again from the men-at-arms. The Mangonels just firing off, but now the second landmark is under threat. It is going to be the council hall that continues to go down. Trebuchets together with the Mangos working it down, and we can see on the backside that LucifroN knows this is the fight of his life here. This fight is the ticket for him to potentially make it through to the Red Bull Wallaloo. You talk about the road to Red Bull Wallaloo. LucifroN doesn't even need to think about that if he wins this game and goes through on the next one and the next one, because he's got to win 3. It's a tough spot for him. But PuppyPaw right now, he's really looking to seal the deal. Those Mangoes keep coming forward, and there's no response out from LucifroN here. He's trying his best to hold on. The villager count's not looking terrible. He's 15 villagers up, but the military count's the real concern. He's 1/3 of the military of his opponent right now.
He is 1/3 of the military indeed, and he lost all the production buildings, he lost the stables, he lost the council hall. Right now he can only make infantry. He's mostly making men-at-arms against crossbowmen. Now it looks like PuppyPaw's push here for a brief moment is stalling out, and the step out being called to the front. This is why this push is stalling out for PuppyPaw. He's realizing that he may have slowed down a tiny bit. He's up against mostly men-at-arms, some longbows. He's going to go for a hard switch on cavalry, and when those cavalry units engage, they are going to wipe out what's left of LucifroN's base. LucifroN needs to play a very long game over here to recover.
Now, you might have seen a trebuchet come out from LucifroN as his first item. Instead of going for a springald, he went for a trebuchet. And a lot of people would have scratched their head and said, why the heck would you go for a trebuchet when you're up against this much siege? And the answer wasn't because of the siege. It was because of the outposts and the springald emplacements that come in with them. But LucifroN has managed to hold off. He's managed to fend off the damage that his opponent has thrown out. He's lost one landmark. His town center was under attack. Villagers continue to repair it up at this point in time, but it definitely seems like he is under threat. His King's Palace down towards the south side of his base still stands strong and yet to be taken out just yet. But it looks like a defensive keep going to be placed down for LucifroN, able to anchor from that position, sitting in the pocket. At the same time, the mangonels move forward, but both of the springalds do manage to go down. LucifroN managing to find himself a way back into this game. PuppyPaw continuing to pump out the cavalry. At this point in time, we see 8 lancers in queue. It could be enough of a swing to potentially throw this game into disrepute, but right now, how good is LucifroN looking? That is the question.
Not really good, because he only has 8 villagers lead, and remember that he was confined into his base for a long time. He's running out of resources, and that is something that we also should not forget over here. Plus, he lost a ton of buildings that PuppyPaw gets paid for. Every single building that got burned down over here gave a bounty to PuppyPaw. Looks like the springolds are now pushing up though. Looks like LucifroN is getting ready to fight this one. Army numbers are back on track. He's up to 50. And LucifroN, he's not gonna go down easily over here. He's got a respectable force of men-at-arms in PuppyPaw. He might have waited a little too long over here because LucifroN's eco is kicking in.
Yeah, LucifroN's eco's definitely going, but obviously still not yet in the Imperial Age, and that's when it really starts to go bananas. But now, continuing to push up, he's managed to build up a decent springald count. He's actually got the springald lead right now. He's up 4 against 2. So could really look to swing out the difference here. Goldmine getting threatened up towards the north, and springald's firing off towards the first. It looks like PuppyPaw gets a good trade, takes out one springald of his opponent. Mangonels on the backside looking to push through. We can see up on the north side as well, the Lancers lying in wait, ready to go. Big mass of crossbows coming out. Second springald does go down, but PuppyPaw's got 2 more where that came from. Trading on the backside, the Mangonels get some decent shots off towards the men-at-arms. A lot of damage comes out. The crossbows are out in force today. Lancers on the backside continuing to blast through, but now it's starting to look really bad. PuppyPaw continues to push on the damage. I don't know if there's any way that LucifroN manages to hold. There are so many units, so many crossbows. He's got the men-at-arms out. That was the tech switch that he looked for. He's got 5 more in queue, but against this many crossbows, I don't think there's any way he can possibly hold. The trebuchets continue to push down on the front side. This is the final game in this series, potentially, if PuppyPaw wins here. He knows how important it is to hold. The Khan goes down, and with that, surely people just type GG in the chat, right, Lidakor?
Oh man, all the army is gone here for LucifroN. He's trying to hold off with that keep over there. That keep could slow down this push, but all his army is gone. All that investment into the men-at-arms, the longbows, it's gone. He's down to 9 army here. Longbows against crossbows only, and now the Lancers are just going into his eco. LucifroN is running out of juice over here. The traction traps now setting up, starting to shell those landmarks, and now there is just absolutely no army that can deal with those Lancers. There's nothing left for LucifroN army-wise. He's down to 5 longbows, 5 men-at-arms.
Yeah, he's trying his best to hold on, but it's such a damn difficult position, and now that landmark going to be going down for a second time this game. He's trying to hold him at the Lancer. Look at the damage that comes out. It is just slaughtering these villagers. The villager count very, very even. The relic count 4-1. And so that means that PuppyPaw's going to have that extra gold income in the late game. Obviously, LucifroN, he's not too fussed about it. In the event we make it to Imperial, he's going to have enclosures going for him. But he is really up against a rock and a hard place right now. He's managed to hold on. He's managed to keep himself alive, but you can't help but wonder for how much longer, because the springalds continue coming in. The siege is looking very good right now for PuppyPaw.
It's looking really good, and he's slowly crawling up, getting the bounty for every single building that he burned down, and those buildings have to be rebuilt at the back for LucifroN, who is running out of gold inside his base. He still has the farming eco, but he's probably running out of wood as well, and that army is just scary for PuppyPaw. Still 82 units versus 30 only, and the Knights are now getting ready to break in on the northern side. Castle now under fire, new springolds being added by LucifroN. But you see that PuppyPaw is gaining more and more confidence as he spots the lumberjacks on the north. Now he knows that his opponent is starting to run low on wood, and he's going to start picking off those lumberjacks with the crossbows.
And it's not just the Lumberjacks. That gold mine up towards the north is running low. There's no secondary gold source here for LucifroN. This is really difficult for him because the Knights or the Lancers have gotten through. This could be good game right here. You thought the castle going down would be good game. No, sirree, Bob. It is these villagers that are going to be meaning so damn much. With that, you can see that at the same time, the push is somewhat stalled out in the center, but the villager count going down, and the crossbows in on the wood line. That is not villagers mining wood. That is crossbows. Things are not looking pretty right now, Lidakor.
It's not looking pretty at all, and LucifroN is losing his entire eco behind this.
No, the mangonels! Oh my god, from downtown, it's okay. They're only men-at-arms. I thought they were longbows. That could have been really bad. I mean, it was still a lot of damage. But look at the damage that comes out. LucifroN just lost 50 villagers in the last 60 seconds.
He's too busy microing his units, and he's going to tap out! PuppyPaw gets into the top 4.
Wow, PuppyPaw does it in absolute style. LucifroN takes the first game in the series, but PuppyPaw claps back 4 games in a row. Absolute insanity, and in a matchup that is considered by many to be a very difficult matchup. PuppyPaw, impressive stuff right there. What a game from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, your representative from North America in the top 4 has arrived, and this is the story of the entire set, I feel. Look at that villager curve for LucifroN, the lead for so long, and in this last 2 minutes, everything just collapsed. Obviously, there was a lot more to this one, with how impactful the mangonels were for PuppyPaw, how big of a map control he had, him having 4 relics and 3 sacred sites. But throughout this set, we have seen LucifroN losing so many villagers in these exposed proxy ecos, and those just hurt him so much throughout this entire set. He has played a good set, but LucifroN, or PuppyPaw rather, played an exceptional set, and he was able to punish every single small mistake, ultimately taking this set in a very convincing 4-1 fashion.
Incredible stuff from the North American. And I don't think people are going to be saying NA, Keck W much longer. Not with these two brothers on the scene. These guys are really looking incredibly strong. I'm looking forward to seeing what PuppyPaw brings out in the Final 4 because my suspicion is it's going to be absolutely insanity. But we'll be heading through to our next series. So if you're thinking about going somewhere, don't do it. Because it's going to be an absolute insane one. We've got Beastie Cutie going up against the Viper, 2 of the biggest names in Age of Empires 4. And that is going to be for the seed number 1 position. And you might be wondering, okay, why would seed 1 be important in a group series? Well, that's probably because you don't want to go up against Marine Lord, right?